process to install paid apps is a lot more confusing. So, but it's not too bad once you get through it. So we'll try it here together. So the first thing you need to do is go to the Apple Volume Purchase Plan website. So I'm just going to Google that. So it's the first hit that comes up. I'm going to click that. So now I need to sign in. So I'm going to come up here and click sign in. Now this is not your Apple ID that you would use to get free apps. This is your Volume Purchase Program ID. So my Apple ID is just FCC at spsd.sk.ca. My Volume Purchase Plan is FCC-AVPP. So check yours out. It will be different than your school one. There probably will be AVPP in there somewhere. And there'll be a password for that. Now, this should only be done by one person at your school. It's often the vice principal, sometimes it's a teacher librarian, or maybe somebody that's just kind of adopted the iPads in your school. So once you figure out what that is, and if you don't know it, Leo Troche can get it for you, so you would have to call Leo, and then you sign in. So what would happen would be somebody would come to me as the person in the school that purchases the apps and say, I would like to have, let's say, Explain Everything, for example. So what I have to do then is I have to come in here and I have to type Explain Everything while I'm logged in with my Volume Purchase Plan account. So when I do a search, I'm going to get lots of stuff. So it's really important that when somebody gives you a name that it's pretty descriptive, because it's, well, is that the collaborator? Is that the whiteboard? Or, what is it? So you come in here and you find the app that you're looking for. So Explain Everything is not free. So I'm going to click this and it's going to tell me now how much it costs. So it's $13.99 each. Now, if I buy 20 or more, the price goes in half. So if you want to buy 11, you're better off to buy 20. And you may need the other 9 some other time, but you can use those codes. You'll get codes assigned to these. So you come in here, you say how many you'd like, and it will automatically do the calculation for you. Now, then it's going to ask you, do you want redeemable codes or managed distribution? So we're looking to move to managed distribution, but right now we don't have that. So you want to go to redeemable codes. Now, once you do that, you click Review Order, and if everything looks good, you place the order. Now, I'm not going to place this order. I've done this before, but once you've placed your order, it takes a couple of minutes, but then up here, you can come here and say Purchase History, and this will show you all of the apps that you've purchased with this account before. So with this, you'll see the name of the app, how much you paid for it, and then you can actually download the code. So downloading the code opens up an Excel spreadsheet. So I'm going to click on this one, for example, and you'll notice down here it's downloading a spreadsheet. So if I go to my Downloads folder, double click the Excel sheet, and it will open in Excel and it'll show you this. So these are the codes. So these are the codes that now you have to go visit the iPad and enter these codes. So you can see I've redeemed some of these already. So once they're redeemed, you can't redeem them again. So you might say to yourself, well, if you bought this many codes, why did you only redeem this many? Well, once I redeem the code, it will be available in the purchased part of the App Store on the iPad, so I can download it again without having to burn off a code. Now the problem is, now this is where it gets tricky, you need to make sure you have a code purchased for every iPad that this app is installed on. So if I have 20 apps or 20 iPads that this app is on, I should have 20 codes. If I don't, I'm breaking the law, so I have to be very careful. So now I can use one code and put it on 20 iPads as long as I have purchased 20 codes. This is very important. Violating this could result in serious fines. So we have to make sure that we don't put apps on iPads that we have not paid for. So then once I get that code, now I have to go visit the iPad. Once you have the redeemable code, you have to visit the App Store. So in the App Store, you have to scroll down the Today page. This is iOS 12 here, and you have to go all the way to the bottom. And on the very bottom, you'll see Redeem. So Redeem is where you enter the code, the redemption code that you got after purchasing in the Apple Volume Purchase Plan store. So then you have to put in the Apple ID password, which is the free password. This is just connecting it to the Apple ID. So this isn't the Volume Purchase Plan password, it's the Apple ID password. Once you do that, it will take you to the redemption page where you then enter the code manually. And this is where you type it in. Now, once you do that, it will download the app to that iPad. Now, it's only to this iPad, not to any other iPads. So what you then have to do, you can click on Updates and then click the little icon in the top right. And then you can see, so I can see I'm logged in. Yours would have your school name up there. And I can click on Purchased, and I can see all the apps that I've purchased using this account. Now this is where it gets tricky because this doesn't tell me how many that I actually bought. So I may have bought one copy on another iPad and it will still show up in here. So this requires some diligence on the part of the person responsible to make sure that there aren't multiple copies being placed on multiple iPads. You must have a license for every iPad that you purchased it on. So the code only needs to be entered once, because you cannot reuse a code. So you can take that code that you got and you can use that code on all 5 different machines as long as you purchased 5 different copies, but you can only use the code once. So just to clarify, I may have already installed Image Ink for tablet on this machine and it's already installed on here. Or Subotize This is already purchased, but it's not on this machine. So if I put a code in on another machine, it's going to show up in here whether or not I've paid for it. So I have to make sure I don't click this cloud and install it on this machine unless I'm sure that I have another code for it. Now the other complicating factor in this, I'm going to go back to my settings here. So in settings, if I scroll down here and go to the iTunes and App Store, I'll come here. Now you can see these are turned on and this is not good. So I need to turn off music, apps, and books and audiobooks, because I don't want these things to automatically download to other iPads, or specifically this one. So you have to do this on every iPad. I don't want apps to download on here unless I have done it on purpose. So if I purchase on one and I'm logged into other iPads with the same Apple ID and this is turned on, it'll automatically download those ones to this iPad as well, and I don't want that. So please make sure that these are all unchecked. So again, very confusing. Watch it again if you need to. I've also got it all written up in the blog post below. You can take a look and hopefully that'll work for you. Thank you.